Coming up on today's show, we take a look at a brand new found footage horror movie titled Dagr.
We've got loads of cameras for this.
Hey guys, we've made it.
Spy cams galore. It's gonna be so sick!
Stay tuned. Welcome to Scary World, where we walk you through the latest and greatest in the world of horror. I am your host, Arturo Padilla.
Hi.
For those of you just joining us, we have one major rule around here: no spoilers. Now that we got that out of the way, there are 5 categories: production, story, ensemble, horror, and legacy. Each category can score up to 2 points.
Showtime.
Per IMDb, the synopsis goes, fame-seeking YouTubers find themselves in a paranormal nightmare when the advert team they are stealing from awakens a murderous occultist from the past. This film was directed by Matthew Butler Hart. He does a great job executing this entire project. As you guys all know, found footage films are a hit or miss because of the nature of the gimmick. And I'm glad to say this one is definitely a hit. The found footage looks great. They have 2 different types of footage in this movie, one from the YouTubers and the other one from the advertising team that the YouTubers are trying to prank. And in the beginning of the movie, they actually go on to state that professional filmmakers went on to edit the movie using the footage found from these cameras.
Babe, this is really quiet.
It is a bit quiet. What do people do out here, man? This is where death...
And let me tell you folks, the footage looks really, really good, really crisp. They made sure that all the camera work in this film was well executed. They use an array of different kinds of cameras. For instance, the advertising team is using a Super 8 camera along with an iPhone camera and an iPad in order to film their commercial and play back the footage as well. Our YouTubers are using their own phones on a gimbal or a selfie stick, whatever you want to call it, and this footage is then all pieced together to make this awesome movie.
What is that?
I want to go.
Babe, that's not real. That's just all part of it. It's definitely fake.
All the footage that they gathered was edited well together in order to make this movie very compelling and very cohesive. And very complete as well. This production is a complete success, from the camera work to all the different kinds of little cameras used, from the hidden camera stuff to the iPhone stuff to the Super 8. Everything looks really good. They made sure that all the shots look good, all the shots look cohesive, that we knew as the audience what we were looking at. Because there are a lot of times, folks, that found footage is grainy, is not very coherent. You don't understand what's going on in the footage. You can't really see stuff. But here you kind of see everything. And it is very awesome to actually experience that. And for this awesome production and all the hard work they did to pull this movie off, this movie gets a solid 2 for all their hard work. The story and the script was written by Matthew and Tori Butler Hart. They did a solid job with this script. It's paced very well, with the movie running at just over 77 minutes. It does not waste any time. They use every second to make sure they establish their horror and they can build their suspense and their tension, and it is successful at that. The acts flow very well and it hits all the proper beats. The last act was full of action and very engaging. They turn up the horror and all the good stuff we go to see a horror movie for, and it turns out very well at the end of this movie. The only thing that I would really change with the story and script would probably be adding more development to the antagonistic portion of this story. We don't get a very clear picture of this cult or whatever is going on that's attacking our protagonists and the people we are here to see. And I kind of wish they would have explained that a little bit. I don't want a full expose. I just wanted to kind of know exactly what the full deal was. It's kind of thrown right into the story without much of an entrance per se, but I do wish they added a little bit more so we can understand things a tad bit more than what we do already. And for that solid story and that very watchable script, this movie gets a solid 1. The entire cast does a really nice job with their respective roles. They all understood their assignment and each and every performance in this film felt grounded and natural and really helped the believability of this footage. Our two protagonists especially, portrayed by Riz Moritz and Ellie Duckles, are fun and they do a really good job fleshing out their characters. They have great dynamic, great chemistry, they're very natural, they have a very great line delivery, and that all really helps keeping us engaged and keeping us in this movie.
Well, hello, fellow hosters. I'm Thea. Jokes. This is Louise. Talking about you.
And those performances alone stand out and make this movie super watchable, and they have to be commended for that because they anchor this thing throughout the entire thing, and we're just in it with them, and we experience the movie through them and with them, and the movie does a great job of making sure that these two characters were completely well-rounded and well-developed, and they were a success building up those characters.
And in this episode, we're going to be posing as sweet little caterers at a wanky commercial shoot.
The support as well did a very good job when it came to their roles in the found footage scenes. I think everything from the commercial crew to our protagonists, everything was just very buttoned up and very professional. It really mattered at the end because a lot of found footage movies are supposed to be, you know, amateur stuff, but these are also movies that you have actors in, and it helps when the actors actually do a good job with their roles here. And this is exactly what happens here in this movie. And for the solid performances in this movie that really carry us throughout the entire thing, this movie gets a real solid 2 for ensemble. The blood and gore in this film is minimal, but very effective when it is done. They make great use of practical horror action to amplify the story. The movie also had good spooky factor going for it. That's the very tough part about found footage stuff and just horror movies in general, is building up that spooky ambiance, or those vibes as we like to call them. If the vibes aren't right and the vibes aren't there, it's very tough to sell a horror movie. It's very tough for the audience to sit through a horror movie and be immersed in that atmosphere if nothing's really done right in terms of the actual spookiness of the world we're watching here and the scenes that we're watching. But here, I think they do a great job with that. And that makes up for the lack of the red stuff that I do enjoy. But we do get a good hefty amount of that in the latter part of the movie, and it is very effective when it is done, like I said. They have very good knife action in this movie, some good looking stabs here that are very impactful and look very good in this found footage. And for the awesome spooky stuff and the very good practical action we get in the latter portion of the movie, this film gets a solid 2 for horror. The last time I was this entertained by a found footage feature flick was probably a couple of years ago in 2022 with Shudder's Deadstream. And even that movie got a little bit annoying because of the protagonist and how much he was just talking. But it was a fun movie at the end of the day. That being said, VHS 85 was fantastic, but that is an anthology and the shorts in that movie do work very well, but we're talking about feature length here, and that's where it really kind of gets a little bit difficult. This movie was surprisingly entertaining. It was fun. The movie accomplished its goal of setting out to make a really good found footage horror movie. The blurbs and everything said it was inspired by Blair Witch and all this stuff. Cool, I get it. The first Blair Witch, awesome, classic, and you get a little bit of that stuff here with some good tension being built up. But in terms of this movie, Dagr, it's super successful. It manages to keep the found footage stuff nice and clear, nice and coherent. You can see everything going on. The quality of the picture is just super high in comparison to all the grainy, shaky stuff we're used to seeing with found footage gimmicks, you know what I mean? On top of that, the characters were really good. As I mentioned, the ensemble did a great job with their roles. They reel you in. The spooky stuff was really good. It was very successful. They built up the atmosphere and the vibes were definitely there. The only thing that I do have to complain about, and it does lose a point because of this gripe, is the antagonist Development wasn't completely there. It was not a detriment to the overall story, but I feel they could have done just a slightly better job with the antagonist and the cult and how everything just all of a sudden started going on there. All that said though, this movie was fun and it was captivating, and that's really what you want from a horror movie. And for legacy and for all the good work that it gets accomplished and the horror that it gets accomplished successfully, this movie gets a solid 1. To tally it up, Dagr received a 2 for production, a 1 for story, a 2 for ensemble, a 2 for horror, and a 1 for legacy, bringing its total score up to 8. This was a smart, captivating, found footage horror flick. We don't get many of those these days, folks, so I really recommend searching this one out anywhere you get your VOD. Rent this thing, buy this thing, whichever way you want to consume this, just do it because it is a good watch. It is fun. It is a quick watch too. At 77 minutes, man, what else are you going to do with a little bit over an hour? Pop this thing in, watch it. I guarantee you will enjoy it.
Can you tell me what time it is?
And that's a wrap, folks. Thank you for watching Scary World. Don't forget to drop a comment down below and hit the thumbs up on the video. Most importantly, do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Tell all your buddies, your family, and their pets to come on down to CorpseFeed and subscribe. We have spoiler-free horror movie reviews for you guys dropping every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And we also have the CorpseFeed official podcast dropping every Tuesday anywhere you get your podcast streams. On top of that, anywhere you get your socials, we are there, folks. Go like, subscribe, and share. And we will see you on Friday for another episode. And remember, it's a scary world out there, but we are here to walk you through it.
I just wanted to say goodbye.